Hello, all dental squad. Welcome back to another session of Mission MDS 2024. So, in this, we are going to see about an important thing, that is basics of radiology. So, what all we'll see in this video are, so we'll discuss about X-ray production, processing, and artifacts. So important image-based questions can be asked from these topics. So let's just dive into these and revise once. So the X-ray production. So you all know how X-rays are produced. You are all well versed with that. So we have three important components in the X-ray tube. One is filament, and then is the anode. So the filament acts as a cathode. So this is the filament of the X-ray tube. You can see the cathode here, it is negatively charged, and the anode is positively charged. So when this filament is heated, the electrons are launched. So this filament boils the electrons off its surface and creating a cloud of free electrons. So the cathode, the entire metal cup, that is this entire metal cup surrounding the filament, also plays a role in electron emission. So first of all, the electrons are emitted by cathode. Okay, then the positively charged anode sits opposite to that of the cathode. Okay, so what happens once the electrons are launched from this pad? What happens? It should go and hit somewhere, right? So what happens? The thermal energy, that is the heated element, gives energy for the electrons to break free the grip of the cathode. Then an electric field is generated. Okay, when the electric field is generated, the electrons get accelerated and fly towards the anode. When the magic moment happens, when these accelerated electrons get and slam into the anode, and their kinetic energy is abruptly converted into electromagnetic radiation. So okay, so this is important. The electromagnetic radiation X-rays are produced like this. So this effect is also known as Bremsstrahlung effect. So this is an important effect. You have to keep in mind, MCQs have been asked on this in various exams previously. Okay, then coming to the, so here also the same thing. Yeah, so showing the production, right? So a detailed image where this copper anode is, see, the electrons are hitting and the X-rays are produced. Okay, so it's just an image representation here. You can just remember this image. Sometimes they may ask as an IBQ. So then coming to the voltage and filtration. So how much voltage is required for these electrons to generate, and how much it will be needed to produce the X-rays? So it depends upon the adjusting of the voltage. So voltage is adjusted between cathode and anode. So by this, what we can control is the speed and energy of the bombarding electrons can be controlled by controlling the voltage. Okay, the higher voltage translates to more energetic electrons and resulting in X-rays penetrating with greater power. Okay, so imagine, like for example, if the X-rays are penetrating, so what the X-rays are produced as, some are produced with high penetrating power, some are weak, some are moderate. So we don't require this scattered radiation, right? We only require the quality radiation which can give us a quality image. So to allow only this quality radiation to bombard and give a proper image, we use something called filtration. So the filtration is like, acts like a sieve. So energy with specific energy X-rays are only passed through it. So this will help remove the low energy X-rays which contribute to unnecessary patient dose and image noise. Okay, so this specific filtration controls are used. Okay, so this you have to keep in mind. Then coming to a question here. Which of the following is not involved in the process of X-ray production? The options are cathode, anode, filament, and reflector. You all know the answer. The answer will be reflector, right? We do not use reflector. Okay, then Then coming to the film processing. So once we have taken the X-ray, then we'll get that IOPA or the bite wing or whatever it is, and we have to develop this IOPA. So it will have these following steps in developing the film. So one is exposure, that is exposure of the X-rays. Then development. Development is where the negative image that is formed on the um, X-ray, that is on the sheet that we have placed, is getting amplified so that it is readable. Then fixing, okay, so that it can get fixed onto the sheet. Okay, then washing and drying. Okay, so development, what happens, it amplifies the latent image, that is the hidden image, and darkens the exposed areas. And fixing, what it does, it removes the unexposed silver halide crystals. This is also very, very important. These are important things you have to keep in mind. And washing, what it does, it removes the residual chemicals and stops the fixation. And drying is used to dry the filament so that the image gets sticked on without any artifacts forming there. So you can see the same thing in the image here, right? So we'll see one by one how it is taking place. Okay, so X-rays, exposure, you know. So X-rays or light which interact with films emulsion. So by films emulsion, when they interact with the X-rays interacting with films emulsion, the film emulsion is composed of silver halide crystals which absorb the coming radiation, and these exposed crystals grow subtle changes which stage the development. During development, we immerse the film after removing its cover, and the exposed silver halide crystals are transformed into metallic silver in this. So this amplifies the latent image and creates some visible dark areas on the exposed surface. Okay. Then after development, what we do? We do fixing. So before fixing, we should do one important thing. We should never mix developer liquid and fixer liquid. So when we are keeping it in the developer, we don't directly keep it in fixer. In between, we keep it in water or any other medium. This is called as top bath. So here the it is done because it is to halt the development process at some desired stage. So here the stop bath helps in halting the process at desired stage. So the film is dipped into the solution such as acetic acid. So and then this rapidly neutralizes the developer and prevents further darkening of the image. Remember, developer darkens the image. Fixer lightens the image. So when we are putting the film into the developer for a long time, you will get a dark X-ray. When we put the film in the fixer for a fixer for a more time, we'll get a light X-ray. So this you have to remember. So the fixing, the unexposed silver crystals which are sensitive to light would eventually darken and ruin the image. So this unexposed silver halide crystals are removed by the fixer solution, right? So what all the fixers and developers which we use, you have to have the knowledge about their compositions. Okay, I'm not discussing here, but make a note of it. Then washing. So after fixing, the image, the X-ray film has to be washed again to ensure long-term stability and prevent any artifacts. Okay, then after we have to dry it. Okay, then which all the factors affect the image quality? Number one, film type. Number two, processing chemicals. The chemicals should not be very old. The chemicals should be changed and should be contamination free. Okay. And the equipment we use and the technique we use. These four are the main factors which affect the image quality. The impact on image quality will be density and contrast, sharpness, artifacts. So this is the main important thing. Sometimes artifacts may also look like some pathology. So when artifacts are produced, we it is very difficult for us to differentiate between that, and dose optimization is also required. So let's just see a question here. Which step in X-ray film processing involves converting the invisible latent image into a visible latent image? It is in developing. Okay, then coming to the favorite topic, that is artifacts. Artifacts are nothing but unwanted markings or distortions on the image, not representing any anatomical structure or the pathological problem. So there are types of artifacts. There are processing artifacts, that is the errors which are formed due to inconsistencies in the film processing. There may be like streaks. So here you can see in this image, the streaks are seen on the X-ray. So improper mixing of chemicals or uneven development may cause, and there may be spots. So here you can see the spots, streaks are also there here. So this is like residuals of chemicals or dust or scratch marks like that. And fog, so overexposure leads to fog. Okay, so you should never expose, like overexpose the radiograph. Then other artifacts like technical artifacts. Technical artifacts include motion blur. This is very commonly observed when the patient moves with X-ray film inside the film gets blurred image like this. And X-ray beam artifacts such as ring shaped shadows. Okay, so you can see ring shaped shadows like that. And grid artifacts, like sometimes parallel lines appear. So when we are using intensifying screens such as grids, there is a reel in our Instagram profile which discusses in detail about grids. So you just go through that also. I'll give, if possible, I'll give the link here. So that will also be a very important problem for the production of artifacts. Okay, then coming to position artifacts. The position is incorrect positioning of the positron emission device, that is incorrect position of the device, right? So this may lead to superimposition, that is overlapping of the structures because of improper angulation. And maybe distortion, that is elongation or shortening of the structure. See here, completely image is distorted. You cannot see anything, nothing is visible there. So this kind of images are produced when there is a positioning error of our positron emission device. So next, so these are also different type of artifacts, and let's just see one by one quickly where all we can see this. So fogged film. So fogged film is very important. So it is like increase in density which is caused by storing film at high temperature or humidity, storing film in a radiation area. Films without lead foil and light leaks or improper safe light leads to fog film. And one more reel on safe light is also there in our Instagram profile. You can just go through this. So one more thing, black line on the film. So you can see black line in this radiograph. It is caused by bending of the film before exposure or before processing. Okay, then double image. So film is exposed twice, so you can see that here, right? Then coming to tree like black lines. So you can see some tree like black lines here. So it is caused by static electricity. Then clear spots. So you can see the clear spots. So whenever I told you, when there is lightening of the image on the X-ray film, it is problem with fixer. So fixer drops. Okay, when there is darkening, it is problem with developer. Okay, keep that in mind. Then other spots include the brown spots. So you can see the entire image is brown. It is to failure to wash the film or developer splashes can lead to this brown spots. And roller markings, see how it is. The roller markings is when you place more than one film at a time or dirty rollers. And fingerprint, so the fingerprint is when holding the film when it is wet. So you should always use film holder for that. Never hold a film with hands. Then cracked emulsion. So the cracked emulsion is nothing but when there is difference in the solution temperature. So X-ray person should always will always check the temperatures. Okay, so the temperature should be optimum for the development of X-ray. So when it is not proper, you will see something like this. And scratches on radiograph, when the fingernails are present, it might give scratches. So apart from this, we have some common artifacts like cone cut, right? Cone cut is when the position of the X-ray film and the light of the X-ray device is not proper, right? So these are some important artifacts you will observe in X-ray films. One more question here is, which of the following artifacts on an intraoral periapical radiograph is caused by improper film placement? So improper film placement, that is, the object is here, but the suppose this is the uh, suppose this is the tooth of interest, but you placed a film here. So what happens, this portion of the tooth is cut, and also you will get a bone cut here, right? So this part is formed, but the thing is, you want this whole tooth, but only half of the tooth is coming. So, and sometimes when the film is placed and the object of interest is somewhere else, like I have my tooth here, but I have placed film here, and I am projecting x-rays towards this tooth, then this and all will become black, right? It will not be shown on the film. So this for this, the correct answer will be cone cut artifact. So this is a very common artifact which we get not only in x-rays, even in digital x-rays, so while doing our root canal treatments. So this is something, these are a very important points that you should have in your mind while going for exams. What I have not discussed is um the compositions, right? The compositions of fixer and developer. So this you just keep in mind, just go through your notes once and revise this compositions also. It's also very important. Okay, I hope you have revised it properly. So let's just meet in the next revision class. Thank you.